Well, hello everybody. Today we're going to be playing as the Hapsburg Monarchy. That's right, the Austrians. Now, we have a few bonuses, and specifically our bonuses are in artillery, but in terms of our actual infantry, guys, we have poor reload times. It takes a long time to train our Crownland recruits into Austrian Fusiliers or anything better, so I think we're going in with a little bit of a handicap. That being said, if you enjoy this and want to see more of this campaign and want to see me continue it, make sure to hit that like and comment down below. Now, what we're going to do here, I am actually going to reinforce Hungary. We could do this, or we could go for protecting Flanders. I think I'm going to go for reinforcing Hungary. So we need to reinforce 4 outposts. Let's jump right in, and let's take a look at what our initial military is going to be. Again, I'm not expecting crazy good infantry at all. Over time, we are going to improve that infantry, and in fact, most of the infantry in the Austrian armies was actually German. Obviously, Germany didn't exist in this time. It was Prussia, plus a tremendous amount of city-states, but again, there were a lot of Germans in the infantry that made it quite strong. Now, what I'm going to do, initially, for the Fusiliers, let's go ahead and hook them up with those medicinal herbs. The elevation screws we can give to our cannoneers. The same with these regimental staff, or actually the same with this limber chest. I might actually hold on a bit. So this would actually increase the accuracy of our cannon, but of course it's going to decrease its max range, which I don't think is going to be particularly helpful. So instead, let's give it to our infantry. It's going to slightly lower that max range, but in exchange, we're going to get some perfect shots. Again, for the ammo consumption, we'll give the limber chest here to the cannons. All right, guys, we've got von Lauden and von Lacy, and that is one huge bonus of the Austrians, as we start off with 2, that's right, 2 generals. So war is upon us, guys. We are on the frontier. A depot lies ahead. Let's get that supply cache. And I'm absolutely going to be taking their coin, guys. We're going to be facing our first detachment here at the Battle of Pudmeritz. And we are facing the British. Of course, our, let's say, arch enemy, arch foe. Yeah, I would say so. Austria and England, for sure. Of course, we are facing Hanover as, you know, as its representative, as you could say here, in this part of the world. But there we go. First things first, we want to get into position. I'm going to send those Fusiliers right up there. I want to make sure that we have the cover of these bushes. This guy, I'm going to actually put him in the tree line, or try to. And while this is all occurring, guys, we are going to push our artillery forward. Those of you that have made it this far in the video, I want to make sure that you know that this is a campaign in which I want to include all of my viewers. So if you want me to rename one of these units after you, let me know in the comments. I do believe it's possible. I saw Griffin Johnson doing it a few days ago. So here we go, guys. Getting up close and personal. I am fast forwarding just so we get to that position a little bit faster. Or just so that we start fighting a little bit faster. Here we go. Now, as for the artillery, I think we can start firing. We don't have the best visual here of this unit, but it's going to have to do. Let's start setting up. I should have actually gotten a bit closer there, and I could limber up again, but we'll leave it for now. Now, what I'm going to do with these Fusiliers is see if we can't kind of get them on the enemy flank, eventually going up that hill. Do something like that. Something like that. I don't want them to take that hill position, so I might actually fight for it. This is where we really could use some cavalry, specifically some dragoons or something like that, where they could fire their rifles to kind of ward the enemy off. But it looks like we're going to be facing them head-to-head. Our cannons have already rung true a few times. Pretty beautiful. Let's take a look over here. So far, so good. Look at the actual damage our cannons do. Pretty significant, I have to say. There we go, guys. We can start firing. Open up. Volley! I like this method of firing, too. It's not all at once. I think it's by rank. They just kind of go down the line and light the enemy up. And you can see the enemy is going for that hill position as well. In fact, they're on the hill. They know just how important this is. Try to push up with these Crownland recruits and put some hurt here on the Redcoat recruits. I also don't like that they've got provisional guard, guys, all the way there on our flank. Not something I like at all. The last thing I need is for them to charge our artillery. Let's hope that doesn't occur. And actually, I'm going to focus fire on the guys on the hill, because I see them as a bigger threat. For the Hapsburgs! There we go. Alright, we've got the first group of recruits on the run, guys. Pretty easy victory, mind you. Let's push forward here, but now we've got to deal with the damn cavalry units. Get these Crownland recruits into position. I'm going to keep the firing going, though, with these. I'm just hoping that they're not going to break through, although the cavalry's in a pretty good position to run roughshod right through all of our men. Fire! There we go. Good work, boys. And unfortunately, they did succeed in getting the first group of Fusiliers to fall back, but thankfully, we are holding on, and now the goal is to just break these Redcoat recruits. Like I said before, it takes a while to train the Austrians. They don't just automatically turn into frontline units. You really need to nurture them. And then over time, we can become Austrian Fusiliers, Austrian Dragoons, etc., and really put the hurt on the enemy. These guys are going to have a perfect shot. There we go. There we go with the artillery. Let them have it, boys. Looks like these guys are back, or about to be back, and we could actually go ahead and try to rally them up. Let's get over there. It's going to be a full volley there on the Redcoat recruits. And again, that uphill position is what's frustrating me about them, because they've got a great shooting position. Alright, our Fusiliers are back. Having been rallied by the General Leopold Josef von Don, of course. And I want to get them up here on the hill and start firing on the enemy. Again, we're leaving nothing out in this campaign. We are going to try to cover every element of it. Whether we do well or not, we're going to cover it. It's that simple. And actually, I'm almost tempted to rush up the hill here and charge. But I know better. And look at that. They are returning with another group, or the same group, I should say, of provincial cavalry. I want our focus to be on them. So the second they appear over the cusp of the hill there, we are going to open fire. They're charging. There we go. They're already starting to break. Let them charge in. They're not going to last long. And there we go. Sure enough, we've got a retreat already. And there we go. A little longer to get that victory than I expected. But, you know, the British have some very high morale, I must say. Alright guys, 164, and the victory at Pudmeritz. In addition, we got some little bonuses here. We're definitely going to take a look at them. But what I'm going to be going for is veterancy. So I'm going to go for a veterancy increase there. We already have some recruits. So what we're going to do is go ahead and fill in those ranks. In addition, I'm just going to take a look here if there's anything that we could actually use. Honestly, I'm tempted to sell most of this. We will keep the Dragoon Sword for a cavalry unit. So let's take a look here. We've got a 3-pounder gun, and we could replace it with a 6-pounder. Yes, please. And again, this would greatly lower our range, but it's going to give us buckshot for our cannons. So essentially, our cannons would turn into massive shotguns. I kind of like this. I have to say, though, the minus 55 max range, minus 55% max range, that's crazy. Like, I think we're going to wait a bit before we make a decision on that. But I'd love your thoughts in the comments. I really would. Is that worth it or not? I wonder. Alright, let's go over here to Pudmeritz. Try and get some additional troops, of course. I'm going to just quickly go to the town square. We can get rid of the shepherd's axes. We don't really need those. The old gun as well. Maybe even the sturdy shoes. I'm not all that crazy about movement speed, when we could instead invest in additional units. So let's take a look here. We could actually get our first cavalry unit. Although I believe the Grenzers are going to be more important. Getting those infantry recruits and making sure that they get stronger and stronger. I think that's going to be the most important part here. Could also sell this Dragoon Sword for 130. I'm tempted to do so. I think we need the money right now more than we need the actual sword. So that's what we're going to do. And let's continue, my friends. Well, we have to go and get these outposts, guys. And unfortunately, when we go into the actual mountains, we do take attrition damage. But we want to make sure that this raid is not successful. We want to defend the outposts, so I'm going to provide ample ammunition. 72 of our ammunition. Unfortunately, the cartridges proved too few. The enemy broke right through. We did what we could, however. And we're going to continue on our path here. Let's take a look at Altsohl. We really need some cavalry, I've got to say. There's not much we can do right now. Let's take a look at this convoy. And we can seize their weapons, secure their ordnance, or make off specialty ammunition. Guys, we are going to seize their weapons, because currently our men do not have the best weapons. In fact, I think most of them are using worn muskets. These guys have new shots. Those are pretty good. But yeah, the worn muskets are useless. Let's give them some socket bayonets. And I'm actually really tempted to go ahead and give our Austrian battalion, our artillery battalion, the buckshot rounds, just because they would get so much damage against the enemy. I'm tempted to do it. Let's see, can we do this? Huh, interesting. So maybe it's specifically for, it is specifically for cavalry and infantry. Wow, okay. Should we try it? I don't think so. I don't think so. I think we'll stay away from that. What we will do is we'll try to sell this and get additional units. We want to get this army larger, of course, guys. So let's go to the town square. 1, 2, and 3. It's only going to give us 336. What a shame. We're 2 away. We are 2 away, mind you, from being able to get an additional unit, and that is frustrating. However, for 325, we can get another Crownland recruit unit. Let's do it, guys. Just for another 25, we can get some Hungarians, which are better, but let's take the Crownland recruit unit. Something is better than nothing, right? And at least we'll have a tremendous amount of infantry. It looks like these British troops, yep, sure enough, they're going to fight us at the Battle of Altsohl. Let's have a battle, my friend. Let's see how we can do here. I would ask, if you got this far in the video, to please like, comment, subscribe, and if you want to make yourself a part of the campaign, if you want to be a part of the campaign, I should say, just make sure to let me know in the comments if you'd like any unit actually renamed. I'm happy to do that. So we're going to go ahead. I want to make sure to keep our men close together. We're not going to make it up there before they arrive. There's no way. They've got some great positioning. They can use the woods here, the tree line. So I'm going to have to kind of minimize my army a bit. Get these guys up here on the hill. We really, really need some cavalry units. Just going to fast forward here so that we can get into position and begin this fight. Okay, he might actually be able to get there. I'm surprised. Go, go, go. This would really help us out if our guys get into this position before the enemy arrives, because we have exceptional cover here. I might even send these guys in too. I think I have no choice. And we can actually set up the artillery, start firing from here. We know our enemy. There we go. Beautiful. Already a devastating volley. But we've got to keep it going. We've got to keep it going. They have some actually very good cover here at 25. I think every single unit on this battlefield has exceptional cover at the moment. Really? That quick? Did you guys see that? Instant run by the Grenzers. Instant. I was not expecting that at all. And in good position, too. I'm not sure why they did that. All right. Switching priorities. We're going to fire on this unit. We're going to fire on this unit as well with these guys. So we've got the Austrian Fusiliers, our best shooters, and the Crownland recruits firing together. And we do still have that elevation gain. We might still have it here, too. Or we will very soon. Let's get a volley, boys. There we go. The Grenzers are back, although I'm not sure why they left in the first place. Come on, boys. Another round from our Fusiliers. The enemy has over 1,000 units here, so even though we're causing casualties, they can eat those casualties up, let's put it that way. Another double volley here should break the recruits, guys. I'm hoping it breaks the redcoat recruits. But just look at the devastating artillery fire. Boom! Beautiful. Let's push. We got to retreat. Follow up the retreat if you can. And we'll try to set these guys up in a more opportunistic position. Because we are getting hit from the flanks, which is never fun. Boom. Get the Grenzers to start firing too. And it looks like we broke that unit too, the Redcoat recruits. I want to get a flanking shot with the Crownling units, and I'm going to move in with the Austrian Fusiliers as well. Hopefully we can wrap this battle up. I have to say, I am ashamed at the Grenzers, though. I'm not sure. Maybe somebody could tell us in the comments what broke them so quickly. They're in a decent spot. The enemy unit had not yet begun doing the flanking shots. That was shocking, to say the least. And there we go. Crownland recruits broken due to the flanking shots. We have to knock out this British foot, and we need to do it quickly. Crownland recruits. Fusiliers to hit these guys too. And I will say these Redcoat recruits are much better initial units. We're really having to put in a lot of work to improve the Austrians. The thing is, once they get good, they're like glass cannons. Yes, they still take tremendous damage. Yes, their morale's not great. But once we get them to Austrian Fusiliers, these guys will knock an enemy down easily at distance. So that's kind of what we're trying to do, is get to that Austrian Fusilier point. But first, we need to break these units. Crownland recruits are still at play, so we're going to try to get the flanking shot here on the enemy. And the enemy's actually pulling out of cover, which is exactly what we want. There we go. Another volley should break them, guys. Although, as you can see, some of the units are returning. Some of the enemy units are returning to the fight. Beautiful. Going to face the Redcoat recruits up close and personal, and I'm going to try to get some flanking shots on this British foot. It's been a tough fight. I'm not going to lie, guys. It has been a tough fight. Fire! Beautiful. Double volley plus a cannonade. And hopefully our Fusiliers make short work of these Redcoats. But I like that with the update, units are much more likely to re-rally once they leave the actual immediate battlefield. And I think that's quite realistic, quite true to the time. You know, units aren't just going to keep running if they can return to the fight. Especially if the gunfire has died down a bit. Keep it up, boys. I think the Fusiliers can handle this. And again, that British foot unit, guys, they are tough. As you could see, that might be just a standard infantry unit, but these guys are British regulars from the mainland. And they are willing to fight to the end. I think Leopold Joseph von Don is in the right position here just to give as much morale support as possible. Some pomp and circumstance behind the lines. Let's take a look over here. Also going to make sure that our artillery, well, they can go ahead and fire one last time at that unit. Let's have the rest of those rounds go into the woods. And I'm going to try to corner the enemy here. We'll also bring up that support, and sure enough, I told you, our Fusiliers made quick work of those redcoats. Again, the Fusiliers are fantastic shots, and that's the goal for our entire army, is just get them all to Fusilier status. It's really that simple. Fire! Beautiful. Unfortunately, our Crownland recruits also retreated, and see, this is what why I didn't want to play as the Austrians, is they've got this element, and I hope somebody can tell me like what the equivalent would be in World of Warcraft, or excuse me, Warhammer, I should say. But they've got this element where their morale is not great. They lose men quickly, but the number one, it's a challenge to play them, to say the least. But it's also, once you get them to a certain level, they're actually OP. They're actually fantastic. They've got exceptional artillery. Their infantry over time, again, once you get up to the Fusilier stage, is really, really good. So that's what we're trying to get to here. We have taken tremendous damage from the enemy field artillery here. Let's push in. There we go. Yet another victory, guys. But this one did not come without severe losses. Let's put it simply. And we'll see here what our focus is going to be afterwards. The whiff of grape shot. Beautiful. We did a tremendous amount of damage with our artillery. That's all well and good. But what we really need, guys, we are going to need conscripts. Well, we already have quite a few. But after that battle, we need as many as we can get. I'll also check to see if we can upgrade any of our units yet, although I don't believe so. The upgrading actually takes some time. Let's do that. Boom. And we'll also go ahead and give some ammunition to our units. Those Tula muskets can replace one of these awful worn muskets that we've got on these other units. Let's do that. And let's head right back to Altsohl here, because I believe we can purchase some additional forces. So for a single coin more, if we got to the 500, we could have afforded some actual artillery units, although that's not going to be the case here. That's right, we were going to check to see if we can upgrade any of the units. Not yet. Like I told you, the Austrians take a while to upgrade, and that's going to be the case here. So if you enjoyed this, guys, and you want to see me continue the campaign, the glorious Hapsburg campaign, then please let me know in the comments, and we'll get to part 2 as soon as we can. Take care, and glory to Austria!